we're gonna try to approach this video very open-minded and letting him speak his piece, okay? I know that a lot of you guys are really enjoying Blue Protocol, but try to put your biasness aside and see if he has any valid points. It seems like a really long video, so we might speed it up. Keep it civil in the comments as well, chat. Not everybody is going to agree with you, or me, or him. So try to keep the conversation civil. Here we go. Mtashed review of a Blue Protocol on the day of release. It appears he filmed this video on release.
Hi everyone, Mtashed here. And I feel like whenever I play a video game and I critique them, I end up getting cancelled. Because I recognize very quickly when a game is not worth my time and potentially not worth your time.
Okay,
I think that Blue Protocol
fair.
Star Resonance is going to be one of those games because in the last 3.5 to 4 hours that I've been playing the game, I'm not sure there's been
so
one
he's very aware that he gets a lot of hate for this.
moment where I've had any, even glimpse of fun. There hasn't been one moment where
So there hasn't been a moment where he's had any glimpse of fun yet.
was challenged. There wasn't one moment where I was excited. There wasn't one moment where I thought, damn, this could be something. This is the most average or below average game I've played in a long time, and it is very similar to any other mobile, free-to-play, MMO, gacha-like experience that I've experienced. I recently played another game called Crystal of Atlan, and I reviewed it very harshly. This feels very similar overall to Crystal of Atlan. It does not seem like a MMO that I am ever going to want to play long-term, and it is a already time-gated experience. I need to wait 15 hours. 30 minutes into playing, I was already time-gated from the main story quest. What I'm trying to do right now is see...
Which is something that's very different from MMOs. Let me talk about this particular gate that is happening. It's very different. So when you get a new MMO that comes out, say New World, Throne of Liberty, Lost Ark, this, that, and the third, you automatically have people within the first hour of the game pushing in-game content and being there at the end. And they're already discovered, already blew the shit, already well through this, well through that, and they're already getting to the end of the game, and then they burn out and say the game has no content. This is traditional gaming. Everybody burns through content on the first day and then sit there and complain that they have nothing to do anymore. I think that this is a very welcome pacing to any other MMO that I have played in recent times. I like that I am gated on burning through content. That way, I can have something to do the next day. It feels good. I don't know if this is like crack, if I'm alone, if this is a hot take, but I really like looking forward to the next chapter of the story, the next skills that I can implement, the next this. I am really liking the slow drip of this. I'm gonna miss it the moment that we're like waiting 2 weeks for new content. That is going to be horrible for me. I am really liking the slow drip right now. And I don't know how I'm gonna manage the moment I have to wait months and months and months for new content. But obviously, this is not for everybody. Some people really want to burn through the content like immediately, which is clearly the case with Mr. Mtashed. He doesn't like this. He feels it's very jarring. He wants to be able to burn to endgame. I really like the change of pace.
See how long it takes me till I get locked out? I just want to get an idea of how long I can go. I'm already locked out! 17 hours, 18 minutes. I'm already locked out.
Yeah, but for one day.
And even though I was gated on the main story quest, then I thought, well, do you know what? I can start working on some of my skills. They've got regular skills in the game, but they've also
You're locked out for like one day, as opposed to being locked out for a month or 3 months for new content.
These like life skills that you can
You know what I mean? Like an MMO, once you hit to the end game, you have to wait like a month to 3 months for new content.
I can't even remember where I found that, but life skill, here we go. There's energy on the life skills, and you can only choose X amount of skills, and you can't grind them all out at the same time. They limit your progression, so even if you do these skills, and you go mining, or smelting, or fishing, or whatever you want to do, you can't actually take it up to the higher tiers for a week, and then almost a month. You're not
you're also being slowly dripped life skilling content, but you can still mindlessly life skill, by the way.
I just broke my chair.
You're not gated with how much you can do. If you wanted to do more life skilling, you can go and do that.
You're not allowed.
You're gated on your mastery points.
Allowed to fully progress The server has to be open for 7 days, so you can't focus on mining and get ahead and start getting resources. You can't get ahead and get metal producing level 2 here for 26 days because you're not allowed to be a miner. You're not allowed to be a smither. You're not allowed to be the king of culinary and spend your time grinding this up to make the best food to push dungeons down the road. You're not allowed to play the game, essentially. There's so much time gating that I'm seeing already that I just don't want to play. I don't want to log in and do daily logins and those FOMO gotcha mechanics in order to retain me. I want you to retain me because I want to play the game. Now, I want to talk about something very...
I do agree to some degree. I don't like some of the lockouts. Yeah, I am also a grinder, and I want to grind. This game does a mix of that. It does have lockouts, but it also has other grinding things you can do. I wish they had less lockouts on certain things. I agree with that.
Quickly, because I think this is a very important thing. I'm just going to go to the stereo planes. I'm just going to jump in here and teleport in. You can do regular battling. And if you're doing some sort of endgame content where you actually need to dodge, there are opportunities where you
I don't know why he's talking about in-game content. Like, we actually have that right now. What are you even talking about? There is no in-game content.
You need to put in effort in combat. But 99% of the gameplay that I have done so far, fighting enemies, is so easy, is so boring. I know that this is like a level 1 mob, I'm level 20, I know. But
welcome to every game ever at the beginning stages. There is no level of difficulty in any game in the very first beginning zones.
Mobs barely attack you. They barely even approach you. You can kill them so quickly. And pressing these buttons on trash mobs...
I'm not trying to spend 5 hours challenging a level 1 boar in open world,
that repeatedly...
I don't care if they don't ever move and they just sit there like piñatas.
Don't do damage. I'm going to go to a higher level area.
I don't want to spend a year or a challenging thing at a level 1.
That's what people don't complain. I'm going to go here. This is a higher level area. This is actually higher level than me.
I don't want to
If I run up to some mobs
that is
and I start attacking
fine.
them, they barely do anything. Now, that boss will one-shot me because I'm not supposed to be here. But these basic mobs, this is a level 16 mob, I'm level 20, whatever. They don't really do anything. And by the time they start approaching you, they're so slow. They're so slow that it's just not...
I mean, you're also playing a range class. I mean, they're not going to approach you if you're like shooting them from like a mile away and killing them.
Not fun. It is not a fun game. And you can also auto-battle. And when you auto-battle, I walked away for 15 minutes. I went and checked on my kids. I went and made a sandwich. I had a little drink of water. I took a poop. And I came back and I had almost full health. Gamers, I stood in the middle of an area where...
That is the way it's supposed to work, though. Welcome to the best thing about this game. You can go be a father and a husband and whatever you want to do while you're still progressing. Isn't that amazing that you can go and be a husband, a father, and clean your house and still get some of the achievements that you wanted to do? That is fucking ace, bro. That is amazing you have that as an option.
They were respawning constantly. It was impossible to die. And I understand that maybe because it's like a mobile game, they want it to be casual or somewhat accessible. When it's this blatantly boring and almost impossible to die, like anyone who had a brain could dodge these attacks and not take damage. But like, if it was more engaged...
keep in mind, chat, he's still... like level 10 here or something. This is still the early stages. Why do you want to sweat your ass off at the beginning area of the game?
If I had some fun, I wouldn't be dunking on it as hard as I am. But this is... I don't think you can consider this a video game. I genuinely don't think you consider it a video game. Because it is...
He just started, though! That is so rough. Oh my god, I'm getting triggered. I'm getting rage baited. How can you say that about a game that you've only had, like, less than 1 hour in?
So... autoplay or the ability to autoplay is there, and it is so easy. You might as well, because pushing buttons and getting carpal tunnel for no benefit is just not worth it. You might be thinking, okay, well, Mtashed, I think you're being like too savage on it. Let me just show you something really quickly. I'm gonna pull up my
apples
stream.
Or whatever.
I'm gonna pull up my stream from something earlier today, and I'm gonna show you a fight. We just did this fight a little while ago. Here we go. There's me reacting to it. This fight actually had some mechanics in it. All right. This fight actually had some.
The first boss, by the way, Chad, and normal.
Mechanics in it. You had to jump across this lightning. This was the only moment...
You don't have to jump across, just move across.
In 4 hours that I was like, do you know what? Maybe I would have a little bit of fun.
I like that he thinks that this mechanic is about jumping.
If it was a little harder.
It's not a jumping mechanic, chat.
But it was impossible to die. The healers heal me so much that even if I do get hit, I don't think it's possible to die. If I sit in every single attack, I let the boss attack me, I cannot die. There is no risk, there's no threat. What is the point? It does like 400 damage.
Again, Chad, this is like the first dungeon. It's like judging World of Warcraft for its first dungeon. Treating the first dungeon in World of Warcraft like it's supposed to be a mythic raid. Or treating Final Fantasy XIV like it's supposed to be an ultimate raid on the first dungeon. This is supposed to kind of train you as a little gooby about the game is going to be picking up later on. This is literally the first dungeon you walk in.
My healers instantly heal me up. I have a summon that comes in that instantly heals me up. It is just like brainless. And so standing in the circle, I can auto battle this boss and auto heal. And so there's no threat. There's no like insane moments. There's like, oh, there's a big flashing thing you need to dodge. Who cares? Literally, who cares? I don't need to dodge it because it can't kill me. And you could argue, well, Mtashed, that's because this is the level 1 dungeon.
It is level 1 and level 1 normal, by the way.
This is the basic dungeon. Well, I'm not doing the basic dungeon for 200 hours to get to level 60.
Well, you don't really need to do the basic dungeon for 200. I like how I paused this. You don't. By the way, Chad, I told you guys, everybody is entitled to their own opinions. I'm just gonna call bullshit when I see bullshit, okay? I respect everybody's opinion, and people can have their opinion about a game. I'm not trying to sell you the fact that Blue Protocol is the next quality MMO out there. I'm just calling bullshit when I see it. He is wrong about this first dungeon. You don't have to run this first dungeon 200 times. It is literally normal difficulty.
That might kill me.
It is normal difficulty. You basically maybe only do this normal one like 10 times, and then you graduate to the hard mode, where if you are at gear requirement, you will get one-shotted by fucking up mechanics. You cannot out-heal them. You will die. On the Goblin hard mode, if you are at the item level, you will die. And you will spend a lot of time if your party is just trash.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not playing this game.
So it is wrong. Wrong information. Normal difficulty, sure, you can mess up mechanics. You can just sponge the damage. When you're moving on to hard mode, if you are progressing with the game, hard mode, you can die if the mechanics are not done correctly. You will take a lot of damage. People will be dying. People will be eating candy to revive. Goblin hard mode is the first step where you start feeling a little bit of a challenge.
For 300 hours. I'm not gonna play an MMO for a month.
What are the mechanics? I just run hard mode on auto battle. So this person just typed that in my chat, knowing damn well that he outgears the mechanics. Because if I go there right now with my 9K gear score, yes, I will be able to soak that. But if you played the game and progress with the item level that is required, you will die to the mechanics. There are mechanics there, and if you're not overly geared, you will be taking that damage. A lot of you guys like to think, oh, I'm not dying, I'm doing all this. Yeah, number one, you might be getting carried, and number two, you might be super overgeared for it. But if you're doing it on item level, you will be taking some damage.
Where nothing can do any damage to me. There's time gating on fishing. There's time gating on mining. There's time gating on story quests. Everything in this game feels like a mobile gacha game. And there's
I'm not too familiar with this statement. Like,
this game feels like a mobile gacha game.
This is very mobile gacha game, I guess. Like Wuthering Waves, Honkai, ZZZ. It's literally direct copy-paste menus and currencies from those games.
And there's all sorts of cosmetics and things to buy and monthly cards and battle passes.
That is true. And that is very, very true.
Just look at it all and go, where's the gameplay? You guys spent all of this time making all of this stuff, all of these systems, all of these...
Chad, he's saying, where's the gameplay? On the first day, on the first hour of the game.
UI things, but I'm not allowed to play the game. I'm not allowed to mine anymore. I'm not allowed to do this anymore because of...
Lies, you are allowed to mine.
Time gating. Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
You are allowed to grind your gear.
It's like, well, what? I want to play your game. I want to...
You
enjoy the
are allowed to do all of that on day one and grind as much as you want. You choose not to.
combat. I want to explore. Oh, what's that? You're not allowed to explore? Yeah, you're not allowed to explore. You actually can't progress to multiple areas. Now, I think if you interact with these, Statue of the Hero, I haven't unlocked this. Like, I think maybe it gets rid of the fog, but I've already been to multiple areas while exploring.
You can't go to all of this, by the way. You can.
And they said, you're not allowed to go here yet. You're not allowed to go here yet.
There's only very few spots that you can't go there yet.
It's too high level. Like, I understand, like, hey, if there's level 90 enemies, I shouldn't be fighting them.
But you can go to all of these places, by the way.
Cool. But, like, I like to make that mistake on my own. It just feels like they're calling it an MMO without MMO features. Now, there's apparently an economy. There is a trading thing. You can trade some items. There's, like, unbound currency, and there's bound currency. And you can exchange for these things, and you can actually trade for some items. And you can trade for, like, food items, and there is a bit of an economy in trading. But I just don't know.
Streamers defending this game so hard, either they got the huge paycheck. Why do they think zero translation and VA? I'm not getting paid for this. In fact, I had a really bad, I was almost going into this with a negative mindset, saying I'm only going to play this game for 1 week at most. I was wrong. I think this game is actually really good. Hot take, watching you guys play definitely sounds more of an MMO than BDO and Lost Ark. It's not perfect, but the translations is fine. I don't know about the voice acting thing, but honestly, I'm gonna keep it real, chat. I would have changed it to Japanese voice lines anyways.
You know, I can't even really comment on the level of this. But when I see stuff like this, it's like, okay, well, that's good. An MMO needs some sort of economy. But I don't know how in-depth this is. But at least seeing that, I'm like, okay, there's like an MMO feature I would care about. Because in RuneScape, I can buy lobsters for 195 gold and sell it for 205, and I can make some profit, and I can trade, and I can make my way up there, and that's a
which you can do that in here, by the way.
Mini-game in a mini-game. I can go craft a rune scimitar, and I can sell it for 35k on a free-to-play world. You know, like, there was an economy.
We will see how long you'll change your opinion once all the content is unlocked. Yeah, I know, that's pretty fair, and I don't dismiss that at all. I think that there is a real possibility that my opinion would change when we get to endgame. I think that's pretty fair for anybody who is an MMO enjoyer. Endgame is what really makes and breaks an MMORPG. We don't have that yet. I have not spoken in terms of like, oh my God, I'm going to be playing this game's in-game, because I don't know what that looks like. I don't know how that feels. I can very well stop playing this game 2 months from now because I think it's dog shit at the end. But right now, what we are judging, the game is pretty fucking solid. The game is pretty solid, and a lot of the information that he's saying in this video has already been debunked and debunked and debunked.
And that's an important...
I don't argue with people when they say, hey, I tried this game and it really wasn't my vibe. I didn't really like it. It doesn't really jive with me. And that's completely fine. People can have their opinion. Some people prefer something a bit more different art style. They prefer the different type of battles, combat even. And I can't argue with that. That is fine. People have their different perspectives. But when you sit here and you say that that the combat in this game is dog shit, and that the combat is too easy, and the point of reference that you're citing is the first dungeon on normal, that is cap, that is bullshit. You can have your opinion about not liking something, but I'm going to argue when you're just straight up saying some bullshit.
Part of the game. And skilling was an important part of the game. But the problem is when you limit the ability to do those things with energy, you are now limiting that economy and the potential growth of that economy, and you can't be the guy that spends all his time mining and gets the crazy resources for the guy that spends his entire time smithing to make the crazy armor, for the guy that's doing combat, that's trying to push the bosses, do you know what I'm saying? When you time gate these things and there's a week or 27 days, you're not allowed to play the game how you want. It stops feeling like an MMO. It stops being the game that you want it to be. It's an on-the-rails MMO, in my opinion, and that just feels bad. I don't want to fight a boss. I want to mine for 100 hours. And I want to sell all my stuff, and I want to buy gear, and then I'll do a boss. You know what I'm saying? I should be allowed to do that, but you're not. And when I look at all the different systems and everything I've experienced over the last 4 hours, nothing is making me want to keep playing. I think
he's confusing sandbox with MMO.
That some people have played on the other server, and they played in the betas, and they fought the bosses, and they got to level 60. The idea or the thought of getting to level 60 in this game...
Yeah, you can continuously farm, yeah.
It's terrible. I don't even want to do that.
Almost no MMOs that let you do that, though.
Sounds like a nightmare, because I haven't had any fun. I don't think I'm going to start. I may be dunking on this too hard. But at the same time, there are so many good games out there that you can buy for $8 or $10. They're free games. There are so many things that you can play other than this that it's very hard to recommend this. And maybe I will eat my words. Maybe I will be wrong about this. But I'm just going to guess here. I'm going to look it up right now on Steam. Blue Protocol, Star Resonance. I'm just going to guess right now it's going to be, yep, there it is. Let's just bring this up on stream here so everyone else can see it. Mostly negative. 30% of 1,000 users have given this a positive.
Let's talk about this mostly negative. 1,000 users, chat. Mostly negative. And why you shouldn't really trust reviews on MMORPGs and or gacha games. MMORPGs have a very tribal sort of following. Any new MMO that comes out, they're going to shit on, because they want their 20-year-long game like World of Warcraft to, in quotations, not die. BDO players are going to shit on it because they're like, our combat is just better. So negative review. Any MMO fan base has these big, weird, simpy warriors that would just do that. Because they don't want their MMOs to die. They feel threatened. I think that's very cringe and very weird to have this. And also, that is very prevalent in the gacha space. The amount of motherfucking wars that happen, in quotations wars, because a new gacha game is coming out, it is crazy. It is insane. If you think the MMO space is like that, it is way worse in the gacha space. This game is tackling two genres, MMORPG and gacha space. You're gonna have a lot of these players being really weird just to shit on a game just because they wanna shit on it. I wouldn't take a lot of these mostly negative reviews as a sign, as an indicator of anything. In case you guys are. Tower Fantasy was the same. It is just gonna be bombed because of that. Yeah, the Guru bots and the Hoyo shills doing the absolute worst.
This game is dog water. Okay, it's a mobile game with auto walking and auto battling. If that's for you, it might be good, but it's definitely not for me. First Quest introduced a cash shop and gave gacha coupons like every other gacha slot game before it. You know, there's a couple positive ones, but you know, I have a feeling this game is going to be dead. And if this game is going to be dead, an MMO can't function properly. You know, MMOs need players. It needs lots of players. And you know, day one, there's people grouping up.
Well, this is the seventh day of release, and currently the game has 7K reviews with 70,000 players logged in.
This might be for you, but for me,
so
these
far
games
the game has
just
been really good, a lot better than I thought it would be doing.
I think they're all poorly made. And we had a very big discussion about this on stream. And it's exceptionally hard to make an MMO. It's exceptionally hard to make an MMO because there's so many things that need to go right. But one thing that you need to make
hard to make an MMO.
Right, is I need to care about your world.
Yeah.
And when it's a brand new gacha game, how do you make me care about this random, seemingly AI-generated world and story? You know, it's like, here's this random place, this random castle, this random thing. Why do I care about it? And it's hard to do that. It's hard to get someone over that.
Well, it is really hard to do that when you get to the first point of the story in 30 minutes, and then you leave a negative review and you leave. How do you care about that? You can't. So like, yeah, you're not gonna get enticed. You're not gonna get involved in the game because you just gave it 30 minutes to 1 hour and then you left your negative review and you left. Like, that's fair. I'm not telling anybody they should invest 50 hours in a game. I also think it's the job of the game company and developers to build something that grasps you as a player. You shouldn't have to invest 100,000 hours. But let's be honest, chat. Nobody's going to get the story within the first 30 minutes or 1 hour of a game. A story, it's kind of like joining a Superman movie or a whatever movie, sitting there for 10 minutes and saying, oh my God, this movie's crap, I'm leaving. Like, what? Like you kind of have to sit around for the plot to develop. You have to sit around to see something develop. Like, you know, like nobody, I don't know. I'm just having a real disconnect with his interpretation and his review of this. It's really wild to me.
Edge, while also having gameplay, because you have to give them insane amounts of story and lore and backstory.
It's also the different mindset of going into a game looking for something to complain about instead of trying to find something that is fun to play. That is true. And I think that's the thing with a lot of people that join in a lot of games, especially content creators, that this is their job. They go into it with a very business mindset, and they already go into it like almost forced to go and play a game, and then forced to do then content about the game, and then forced to give their opinion right away because it's hot.
That I can care
because
about
it's hot. The game just released. You got to put your review out.
But if you're doing
and
that,
already
then
going into it with a defeatist mentality almost.
Not playing and having fun, right? To do those things is very difficult. And so for anyone making an MMO, that task is a
Hello, Lex.
And if you look at the games that have succeeded overall as an MMO, there's not a lot of them long term. If you look at World of Warcraft, they already had lore and different classes and factions and things to build on. There was already orcs, there was already paladins, there was already these different characters. Jaina, Proudmoore, all these things exist in the game already, or in the other games, the Warcraft games. And so building an MMO in that world is not the same thing. It makes me want to explore the different areas. If you look at Final Fantasy XIV, which was already a failure when it first launched. Final Fantasy XIV was a failure. They had to delete the game. And
okay, I want to know what analogy he's using here for World of Warcraft, though. Hold up, chat.
As an MMO, there's not a lot of them long term. If you look at World of Warcraft, they already had lore and different classes and factions and things to build on. There was already orcs, there was already paladins, there was already these different characters. Jaina, Proudmoore, all these.
But you didn't get that in the first 30 minutes of World of Warcraft. The reason you're comparing it to World of Warcraft is because it has 20 years to develop its scene. When I started World of Warcraft not too long ago, you don't get to Jaina, you don't get all these orcs and all these stuff within the first 30 minutes to the game, and you're only locked to a little small area beginning of the game. You don't get all of that.
Things exist in the game already, or in the other games, the Warcraft games.
That is developed within, like, for 20 years. The game has been alive for 20 years.
And so building an MMO in that world.
Well, World of Warcraft freaks played Warcraft 1 and 3. Well, then it's a really, if we're taking that into account, then it's super unfair to then compare this game to World of Warcraft. That is unfair. If we're going to take into consideration Warcraft 1 through 3, then why are you comparing it? That's lore. Hello, angels. Hello, hello. I'm one of the devs on the AI waifu lady game and heard you were interested. Hello, hello, angels. Sure, we could talk about it a little bit later if you don't mind. Elly, what's this video called? I can link you the video chat. I also do not want to link a video, so you guys can go be shit to this guy. Don't be those weirdos. We have our opinions, but keep your opinions to yourself. If they're negative and spout hate, don't go do that, chat. Don't go spout hate to anybody. I will never condone that. That is some pussy shit. Don't do that. You can disagree and you can let out your frustrations in my chat and rage bait. In my chat, you're fine, but don't go spreading that shit elsewhere, okay? That's not cool. That's not very adult of you. I'm only linking this for you guys, but don't be some critters. Don't be mean.
Is not the same thing. It makes me want to explore the different areas. If you look at Final Fantasy XIV, which was already a failure when it first launched. Final Fantasy XIV was a failure.
Yeah, so we're going to compare a game that launched and failed and then went back to the drawing board to relaunch the game. We're going to compare that.
They had to delete the game and like take it offline and bring it back. But they had red mages and white mages and blue mages and dragoon.
Okay, so you're comparing a game that's been out for the lore. You're comparing Final Fantasy that's been out way before you were even born. You're comparing the lore behind Final Fantasy to something new like Blue Protocol. That is completely unfucking fair. That is so unfair to bring up Blue Mage, Red Mage, and everything Final Fantasy has developed since Final Fantasy 1. That is so unfair.
And all these different types of characters. They had bosses. They had Behemoth or Bahamut.
Because they've existed for 30 years.
They had you know, all these different
Tiamat, Bahamut, they've existed for like a long time.
summons and bosses and monsters and all these different things. It was easier to build that world and care about it, and it was still a failure. So for this game, this MMO, to suck me in, to suck me sideways, to have some fun with the gameplay, to care about the story, to do all these things is already going to be tough. I have been locked out of progression.
He was basically, I should have let him finish. He was basically stating that fact.
I have been locked out of playing the game. Nice bud, by the way. Yes, just keep using that ultimate when I'm not in range. Yes, perfect example during the video. Yes, what insane combat.
Well, how about you just use your settings so it doesn't use your ultimate when you're not playing? Because you can do that, chat, if you guys didn't know.
Oh, it's still bugging! This is the combat I've been waiting for. Dude, I'm done. I don't want to play this game. I'll never play this game again. You couldn't pay me to play this game again. So that's where I'm at. Like every other mobile-esque MMO game.
His point is build lore makes the player attach characters to the world. He's not comparing a BP to World of Warcraft as an MMO. Yeah, that's what I realized after. But still, I think it's unfair to bring up those old games that have over 20 years of a lifespan to BP. 30 minutes of BP. The point is still there. It's such a really weird take to compare BP's first 30 minutes of the game to games that have been long running for 20 years. It's a little bit of an unfair comparison.
Like this, I just think they are trash. I don't understand why they keep making games like this and think they're gonna pop off. I feel like I played 10 of these and they're just awful. I love the game. I love the game, as you can tell. I don't think it is worth your time. I would not waste your time with this one. I don't know, maybe I'm a hater, but I just don't see it happening. I don't see this game thriving. I don't see it succeeding. If you have fun with it, you do your thing, but wowza. This one's not for me. Thanks for watching. Have a good day.
That's fair, Chad. He doesn't like the game, and that's okay. Chad, make sure you go leave a positive comment, like, and subscribe. Don't be assholes. Don't be mean. Professional hater. I personally don't agree with like 90% of this video's takes. I think it's a very premature take. I think it's a very rushed take. I don't think he gave a very well-informed take about the game. And the fact that he brought up endgame to me was ridiculous when the game has 0 endgame. I think it's just ridiculous.
It's only a game. Why you have to be mad?
So yeah, I'm fine with him not liking it. Yeah, I'm fine with people not liking the game, but like some of the takes were just not accurate, you know? Ugh, you're still here. Well, I guess just hit that subscribe button, yeah? Come on, don't make me say it again. Please?